Hello guys, this is Pat from Pat back at it again, and today we have Geminis, but not mixed up with INFERNOBLEs. That was, if I'm not wrong, something that some of you asked for because they didn't have all of the INFERNOBLE cards, so there you go, pure INFERNOBLEs on the run with the stack list after the support that we got from the deck build box with Necrots and ritual stuff generally. So before jumping right, guys, just a quick reminder, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it and really helps me a lot. Let's jump right into it. So I'm here with Joy, but it's not the only guy you can have the skill on. Phoenix Rising. Let's have a quick recap of this. What it does, couple of effects. The second one being activatable basically only if you go second, because if only your opponent controls a card. So don't forget, if you go second, first activate the second part of the skill and then you go for the other one. So what it does, it gives you out of nowhere, so from outside of your deck, a double summon and a Gemini Spark. So one more summon, a crazy card, and a Gemini Spark, of course, synergizes with the Gemini monsters. Pop plus draw, wonderful. The first spot, real quick, gives you Gemini Ablation plus a search if you reveal a Gemini Ablation in your hand and you play that from your hand with the skill. Otherwise, it's just a Gemini Ablation from your deck on your field. Very nice. You have some restrictions there. You can't summon anything except level 4 Gemini monsters and non-level 4 Fire Warrior monsters. So this, as you can see, is a build that focuses on just Gemini alone, and of course our Fire Warrior boy, the Gearfree, that is, as always, the MVP of all of this stuff. So he's the MVP, even if the deck does not focus on Fire Warrior monsters, okay? So the new addition is Gemini's Lord Gold Knight, and what it does, it's basically a searcher. It can search any card that has Gemini monster in its text. So keep in mind, this is super useful, super easy to trigger, because you start with Gemini Ablation, you can discard a card and literally summon this from the deck. So no worries, even if you have just one, it's totally fine to play just one and you'll be good. So what are you looking for? Well, with this you can search the Supervise, the Gemini Spark, or the Gemini Counter. So as you can see, a counter trap that can negate a spell card, or your Gemini Spark pop plus draw, or the Supervise that actually helps you with a lot of XC summon. That's why we're playing tons of XCs. Why is this the case? Well, simply because Supervise, when it's sent to grave, it says target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And keep in mind, all of your Gemini monsters are treated as normal monster while in your hand, while on the field or in the grave. So when they are in the grave, Supervise can just bring them back. Plus Supervise can actually, if equipped to a Gemini monster, it makes him as it is actually an effect monster, so it's super useful for Chevalier. It's a perfect combo with Chevalier, because you equip the Supervise to Chevalier, you use its effect, send the Supervise to grave, you get a pop with Chevalier plus the effect of Supervise that makes you special summon a monster from the grave, and that's lovely. So to abuse, all of these summons, we are going for a boss monster that was also limited for a while, but then is free, and it's, I think, super nice to have. It's RHINOSEBUS. So in order to summon RHINOSEBUS with at least one Xyz material to use its effect, why do we want to summon RHINOSEBUS? Well, because it is a non-targeting quick effect destruction. So this can be used with so much things, and the fact that it's non-targeting, of course, gives him a plus. Plus, this guy alone with no materials can still, give his contribute, because simply he has piercing damage, and with 2600, it's not that bad, is it? So, to go all the way to RHINOSEBUS, you have quite the path to follow, and you need 3-4 monsters on the field. Why? Because the 3-4 monsters on the field, level 4 monsters on the field, allow you to go into Alomeris Traptrix, that is an insect with 3 materials. Then you detach 2 to go into Garbage, that needs to detach 2 from a rank 3 or rank 4 XYZ monster, and then from the garbage you detach 2 and you summon RHINOSEBUS. So it's all the way from Alameris to garbage to RHINOSEBUS, and you got your boy there. Now this is, I think, a very good thing going first, especially as it can give you another interruption that's super cheesy. It can be super useful, while you can have, of course, the ablation right in the field. This is not, of course, the only way you can play it. I like it to play this way. This is the spice I could think of. Keep in mind we're kind of restricted here because of the skill, right? We can't play that much stuff, that much creative stuff, because we're just limited from the skill. For the limited one, talking about limiting, we got the reinforcement of the army to get anything you want eventually, you might need. I'm playing 2 ablation, but of course if you have the third one, just play it and get rid of 1 supervise and play 3 ablation, because it's better to have the ablation in end. And last but not least, the spice that we already got in the last GEMINI deck, with the one with INFERNOBLEs. I'm talking about Xian, because it could be super annoying to deal with. You know, locking your opponent into 1 spell trap card per turn might be, you know, kind of annoying. For the action deck, we have also Duel going first, that is basically an auto win against certain decks. A Castell can be super useful as well. XYZ in case you need some field wipe, but keep in mind you don't really want to use it if you have ablation on the field, so it's very situational. Then the links to be super generic, Phoenix and Unicorn, and last but not least, the full armored utopic Ray Lancer. We have spells, we can search spells, also with the Gold Knight, so this could be a nice addition to have, and also kind of a surprise. That's it, guys, for the GEMINI past the deck build box support. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and let's jump right into the replays. Here we go, my boys. First replay against Phantom Knights. I think this is one that we had on stream. So it's us to go first. Let's see what we can have. So we're going for not this, in this case we're going for Dabby's Thriller, because against Phantom Knights that's the best thing you can have. So when you just need a couple of monsters, you can go just with the Gold Knight to get even more cards ready. So we're going with that, the Chevalier and the Gold Knight into Thriller. Probably the counter was not the best option, right? Even though the idea here is that you can set the GEMINI counter, and eventually, because, you know, to activate counter, you need to have a face-up GEMINI monster on the field. And yeah, you can have a GEMINI monster in the field during your opponent's turn by using ablation and summoning 1 from your deck. So that's why we do that. So draw phase, Dueler, we're chilling, Typhoon to pop the back row, that's fine. It's got also the Eclipse, but the effect of Dueler is already activated, so it cannot use stuff from grave, and we stop that straight away, at least for this turn. So you're going with the Phantom Knights of Break Sword to pop, of course, our boy the Gearfried. We're using ablation anyway to get the evoke and bring back the Gearfried, so we're chilling anyway. He pops the Dueler, that's fine. At this point, ablation to begin with, summoning another Gold Knight to get another GEMINI Spark. Then we set that, we attack, we steal literally the boy, and of course we can't go lethal, also because he had a the trap from grave that can special summon stuff, so that's why we didn't go straight away for lethal. He's got the Rage's Unbreakable Mind here, and the effect of Cloak to get the Stain Greaves. Tone Skills activates, Stain Greaves activates, we negate that because we don't want to have him, we don't want to let him having a couple of monsters on the field. He's got the Silent Boots to search the rank up Magic Lunge. Then the Knight's Winds effect to get the Phantom Sword on the field. At this point he's going with the Dark Realm Xyz Dragon, but we're chilling because we have the GEMINI Spark, so eventually we can just chain that. So he's going with the Phantom Knight Sword, getting level 3, at this point GEMINI Spark on that, and we're good. He just attacks that, but he can't do that much. That's how you do it, my boys. Rank up, there you go. Second duel, my boys, we got Jaden here. So Dragani Contactio, and it's him going first, we're going second. Let's see what we have. Let's speed things up. Emergency call to begin with. Stratos, of course the Liquid, so expect at least a couple of draws. Let's see if he has also the Crosskeeper. So yeah, so for a total of 4 draws, here he comes. He discarded a Duel, so no 4 draws, but it's got a Sunrise, a sad monster that is the Armored Dragon Thunder level 10 that can be destroyed by battle, and a couple of back rows, one of them being probably a Super Poly. So we got first our second part of the skill to get a couple cards from outside the deck to our hand, and then we got first Supervised there, it's got the pop, and I'm chaining here the Gemini Spark. Why? Because when Supervised gets sent to grave, I wanna make sure that I have a Gemini monster in the grave, so that actually Supervised gets triggered and we get some money back on the field. So there you go, Gemini Spark popping the Super Poly. At this point, half of the job is done. And we can go with the Phoenix Rising, revealing the Ablation, so we got also Search of the Gearfried, but we're not done yet. First double summon, then getting the Ablation to go into Shien. At this point, we got also the Gear Blade with the Gearfried, of course, and there's nothing really that we need. We can just go for little with the effect of Gear Blade, attacking twice with all of the boys. So you do it, my boys. There you go. Guess what? Another Dragon Contact, but this time we are going first. So let's see what we have. We started with the Ablation, of course with the skill, getting a Search, then the Ablation to go into Evoke. Evoke summons another boy on the field, and then Gearfried straight away. At this point we're using the Gear Blade to come back to our end, and we're just setting here the counter, not going into Xyz here because we want to make sure to negate a spell, and then eventually tributing one of the boys to go to have another pop, basically with Ablation, right? So, because keep in mind at this difference, the counter just needs a Gemini monster, even if it's not treated as an effect monster on the field. While the Ablation as a tribute, if you tribute a Gemini monster that was treated as an effect monster, you also get the pop. So you want to save the one that is treated as an effect monster for the pop of the Ablation, for the tribute of Ablation. So it started with the level 10, and that's fine. It's got the Super Poly, the Poly in end. Here comes Armored Dragon level 10, negated by Gearfried at this point. So I decided to start with that because you can just get rid of it with the Super Poly, right? So it's you know what, let's go with that. At this point, Gear Blade comes back to my hand, Polymerization, and I think I made a misplay here. I should have summoned the Shien after this, but I didn't want to lose the pop, basically. So I negated that with Gemini Counter, there you go, and now we still have the pop. So he started with Liquid Soldier, Super Poly straight away to get rid of the Gearfried, that was kind of expected, into Nova Master, but at this point he's gonna draw a couple of cards, and then he's got the Neos Fusion, that could have been a problem, but luckily for us he discarded the Rainbow Dragon, and we saw that. That's why we could use the effect of Gearfried in the first place. So he's got the Grosskeeper to draw more cards at this point before the end of the main phase. Tribute, summon, and again, not the Shien, because at this point he has no more spells to activate. We just went straight away with Gearfried and pop the Nova Master, not the Brave Neos, because he can't be destroyed thanks to Neos Fusion. He's getting a Search, but there's gonna be no next turn, even though he has a Necro Garden, we have to remind that. So there you go, Gemini Ablation to summon the Evoke. Evoke gets another Gearfried on the field. We also got the Gear Blade to attack twice, so Necro Gardener to negate that is totally fine. At this point we're attacking again with these twice, so he's got the Kairoid though, and we can negate that now, definitely. And even if he uses the other effect, we still have another attack with Gearfried, because with Gear Blade all of your fire monsters attack twice. That's how you do it, my boys. There you go. Here we go, my boys, we're going first. Here you can see one of the case scenario when actually RHINOSEBUS could be super useful. So we got Littlelusk and it's us to go. So to go, of course, RHINOSEBUS, you need 3 monsters on the field. So 2 are given by Ablation, because you discard a Chevalier, you get Evoke, Evoke gets back Chevalier, and then you need another level 4 monster in your hand. Then you're just gonna normal summon, and that's it. So Evoke gets the Chevalier, then another normal summon, XYZ into Alameras, rank up, detaching 2 into Carbage, and then detach 2 into RHINOSEBUS with 1 material, so the effect is actually live. Gearfried summons then, getting of course the Gear Blade back to your hand, and then I'm using Reinforcement of the Army to get the Gold Knight, but just as a folder to discard with Gemini Ablation next turn. So it's got the Sapphire's Wallet to begin with. It's going with the Bird Cult, got the Canary, so it's gonna go straight away into that Canary, reviving the Cobalt. I'm just waiting here. Keep in mind, guys, in this duel I did make a misplay, so I'm gonna of course show you where. It started with the Nightingale, and that's fine, because it tries to activate Nightingale's effects, and we negate that with the effect of Gear Fit. Keep in mind, I misplayed because I forgot that this guy can activate the effects. I mean, his effect is not hard once per turn, it's just a soft once per turn. So if he summons this again from the grave, for example, he can decide to activate the effect again, and that's why I misplayed, because I didn't realize that. So for now we're gonna negate and we're chilling. Gearblade comes back to our hand, then the Warbler to summon back actually the Nightingale, but we're still chilling because we got the RHINOSEBUS, Summon Storm to have one more monster on the field, the Sapphire's Duel, and then exceeds into Promenade Rush at this point just to get rid of the Ablation. He's forcing that, or we're just using it, discarding the Gearblade to get the Evoke that gets back another monster on the field, the Chevalier. At this point, Bird Sanctuary to get the 3 monster on the field, and maybe in the end it was not that much of his play, because I wanted to avoid him drawing, right? And in the end I managed to do it because I activated RHINOSEBUS effect, and he could chain Nightingale, right? So of course keep in mind that the fact that RHINOSEBUS is useful here. Why? Because if he activates first the effect of Nightingale, you can chain RHINOSEBUS to it and you pop it, because RHINOSEBUS pop is gonna happen before the effect of Nightingale gets applied. I hope that was clear to you. But in this case, I activated RHINOSEBUS first, that's why he doesn't get destroyed, but I still get him not to draw, because then he does not have 3 materials for the Bird Sanctuary, and that's super useful. At this point, 400, there you go. Attacking a couple of times, not that it really matters. I started with the Phoenix, getting rid of RHINOSEBUS without materials to force the back row. That was the Little Lusk Phantom Feathers to, you know, lower my monster's attack. Then he's using Nightingale to avoid getting damage. We don't really care about that, because what happens now is that we got another Gear Fit, but first we go into the Unicorn to get rid of the continuous spell, so we're chilling, and we're gonna now steal the Nightingale as an equip card with the effect of Gear Fit, and now nothing can happen. We also have a negation, so it just hands the turn, and at this point we can just attack for lethal. That's how you do it, my boys. There you go. Last but not least, we got a Dragon Maid here to face. Super interesting as well. We're going second, so let's see what he has. He starts with the Maid's Downtime to get the Dragon, the Chamber. So it's gonna go with that, the Tiding and Hospitality also he has. He changed over straight away. Ending on Shiu, a couple of back rows. We keep in mind he also has, no, he has Tiding in the grave, 100%. So Phoenix Rising, getting the couple of spell card from outside of our deck to the hand. At this point, Chevalier popping, forcing the negation of Shiu that he has to, because at least he keeps a monster and he avoids us drawing. At this point, the other skill to get the Gemini Ablation on the field, and we're going with the Ablation to get the Evoke that brings back the Xian, and he has to stop that with the Droplet. Nice move to sending the Tiding, because you can use also the effect of Tiding from the grave. So now we're going double summon, getting a couple of monsters on the field, so straight away into Musketeer. What we're doing here is just to flip down that so he can't pop at the start of the battle phase. That's just what we're gonna do. So at this point, the Gearblade comes here. We got the equip, of course, so the negation is ready. It's got the Tiding to summon a monster on the field. It's gonna be the Dragon Maid. No negation here. We're just negating, of course, the Chamber, because we want to avoid him getting more search and more cards to his end. So now we're attacking the effect in the battle phase. We don't really care about those. So Gear Fit attacks the face down and steals the other guy, the big boy, and then we get rid also the little one. So now he's got the downtime ready, because we control a card and he does not. Nurse to get back the chamber. Chamber negated again by Gearfried. We're gonna avoid that happening. He's gonna use downtime to dodge, but it doesn't really dodge because we still get the negation. So there you go. At this point, changeover to get back the ablation here to summon a couple of, actually just this boy to get a search is gonna be a Gemini Spark. So he's got the changeover here to get, of course, the Shield back again on the field, and now he's attacking, getting rid of Gearfried. Not that much of a problem. And now here comes the thing. In the draw, I did this in the draw phase because initially I wanted to pop the Shield so that he cannot, in the standby phase, summon another a level 9 or lower Dragonman monster from Endergrave. But then I realized that putting down the downtime was better. Why? Because I still have another shot with my Musketeer. Look at this. So Gemini Spark popping the back row, then Shield to get a monster, Nurse getting the Parlor sending another boy, then Musketeer forcing the Shield because you just flip that down and he's forced to use it. So here comes the Dragon Maid, the House Dragon Maid. And then we got the effect of Ablation to go straight away in the book. That brings back the Gearfried. At this point, Gemini Spark on the boy that can pop everything. And then we also draw another Gearfried, getting the Gear Blade. So we also have the negation ready. At this point, we're just attacking. Again, Parlor getting the Lord Par, Nurse getting the other boy. But we don't really need to negate anything. We're just attacking one and stealing the other. And then going for lethal. That's how you do it, my boys. There you go. I love this thing. I don't know, the Fire Wardens in general are always so exciting. This version with the Gemini stuff, it's just so cool. I actually like it, and I also love the RHINOSEBUS in this. I know it's kind of uncommon, but that's what you're here for, right? For the uncommon stuff. Guys, that's everything for these video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you ask me, yes, this is definitely cog-worthy, especially now that we are in the last week of the month. So thanks a lot for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.